Hello, YouTube Pipers. It's me, Double O Pipe. Sitting here with my Savinelli Bing's favorite. I already loaded it up because I was trying to load it up so that maybe this time it'll stay lit. So anyway, it started raining, thundering out here just a little while ago. So Hunter's been hiding in there. Like I say, at least he didn't go to the back. At least he didn't go to the back. If he wants to go out, it's going to be wet. But I don't think he's going to want to go out for a little bit. Just 1 minute. Oh, for those who are interested in what's on the bookshelf, that was one of the reasons I got up. The second is I was watching some videos this morning. I ran across the pipe smoking knife maker, and I thought I'd give a shout out for him because I saw he didn't have that many subs, and I thought maybe some of you kind folks who've been subbing me would sub him. And also I've been watching Matches 860. Interesting guy. I'm not sure, but I know that he must have passed away while everybody was enjoying his posts. I was curious where he got his name from, the Matches 860. But like everybody else, I enjoyed listening to his stories. Oh, I forgot to show you, just so you know. Carter Hall. I have not gone beyond Carter Hall. I have several cans or tins of new tobaccos that I will be trying next week when this challenge has ended. I can't seem to keep these things lit. I'm going to have to go back to the videos, teach you how to pack a bowl. Well, what do I talk about? I could go back to 63 again when we were young and stupid. Now, Clyde had taught me some things I shouldn't have known, but I picked him up anyway. He taught me to drink. What can I say? And Clyde knew all the places in town that you could buy the booze that he wanted under the counter. There was one on Wentworth Street that was called the Newsstand. I think it was called the Newsstand. And he would stop in front of that, and I would walk in there and tell him what I wanted. Clyde's Calvert Extra. He'd slip it into a paper bag, slip it onto the counter, and I'd give him the money. Clyde would wave from the car. He got used to my face, so excuse me. So I would go in there without Clyde a time or two and get a bottle myself. And one particular night, I picked one up and picked up 3 friends. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning when we were driving around town. Charleston at that time was a small town. A small town, not reliant upon tourists like it is today. They had the naval base, which the majority of people at one point in their lives worked at the naval base. And because South Carolina didn't go for Clinton, Clinton closed it down his first year. So that was hard on the city. That's why now their main attraction is tourists. Anyway, that's another story. I had a bottle under the seat, and it was being passed around to the 2 guys in back and 1 in front. And I was driving, so I was being reckless, turning corners on 2 wheels and that kind of thing. Anyway, we were driving down the street, passing the bottle around, arguing about who was going to drink the next one. When one of the guys said, "Slow down, stop." So I hit the brake and we stopped. He said, "Over there, that guy looks like he needs help." And there was a guy over there who was surrounded by six fellows who had harmful intentions upon him. So I'd parked the car and we were fixing to get out, and I think half of us were out and the other half were still in the car, when 2 of those guys in the front of him attacked. And one on his, I had it written down here because I couldn't remember exactly how it was, but no, he was not attacked by 2, he was attacked by 1. And he was running toward him with his fist ready to cold cock him when this guy was a soldier, by the way. He was in uniform. When he threw his fist out and cracked this guy's nose, who went down yowling in pain. Then 2 behind him started coming at him. He knew they were coming, and he turned around, arced his foot, knocked both of them out of it, so that their heads, when they hit the cement, their heads cracked and they were out. So now there were 3 in front of him. They all charged him at once. Figured 3 on 1 they could do it. As we watched, the one on his left he caught with his hand like this straight to the Adam's apple. That guy was out. The next one, he backhanded him hard and he was out. And the one in the middle, he caught with his foot right in the groin. So he was out too. This all took about a minute and a half, if that long. And we started running over to him to see if he wanted any help. And once again, he went down in that crouch, and he was ready to go again. And he said, "Come on, you sorry sons of..." And we said, "Whoa, wait a minute. We just stopped to see if you needed any help." He said, "Hell no, I don't need your help." He said, "I'm a Green Beret. I'm trained to kill. And I could have taken on 8 of them, 10 of them. They would have all been on the ground." So we said, yeah, we believed it the way we saw that go on. We said, "Can we give you a ride somewhere?" He said, "Is there any place in this town to eat? I just can't find a place to eat." We said, "Yeah, we can take you over the patio and get you a hamburger and such." He said, "That sounds good." He said, "Well, come on, let's get in the car." He said, "Well, first I got to find my beret." And to us, a beret was a sissy hat. So stupid me, I said, "What, you from Paris or something?" He said, "No, I'm not from Paris. I'm looking for my Green Beret." So what's a Green Beret? It's our status symbol to let people know who we are, how dangerous we are. I said, "Oh, okay." So we all looked around for his hat. I found a cap and I said, "Is this it?" And he said, "No, stupid." Somebody else said, "It's over there. I see it. There's a green patch of cloth over there." So he picked it up. And it looked like he was crowning himself like Napoleon did. He put it on, situated it just right, stood straighter, and said, "All right, I'm ready." We said, "Okay." So my 3 buddies jumped in the back seat and he slipped in the front. And I started driving off toward the patio. I picked up the bottle and said, "You want a drink?" And he said, "Yeah." So he grabbed it and he drank it all down and threw the bottle out the window, which crashed behind us. But it was almost empty anyway, so we didn't care. But we weren't gonna test him at all. We were just trying to get him now to some place where he could get something to eat, because he was dangerous and we knew it. We got to the patio and we went inside. And the waitress came over and we said, "Can you get this fella a cheeseburger and a beer?" And they said yes. He had taken his beret off and put it in his belt. There was another kid at another table that was looking at him like, "What a sissy with a beret." And the soldier said, "What's wrong with you, little pissant? You want to make something of my beret?" And the kid just turned around and looked away, and the guy who owned the patio came over and said, "What's going on here?" And the soldier said, "I was just telling that fellow over there that he needs to watch himself, because he could be hurt bad if he didn't." So anyway, I made the mistake saying, "Well, where did you come from? Where were you stationed?" And he said, "Nam." I said, "Nam? What the heck's Nam?" He said, "You people over here, you don't know shit." He said, "It's Vietnam. Vietnam. But we call it Nam because we've been there and we know what it's like." I said, "Well, I never heard of it. Any of you guys heard of it?" No. We didn't watch the news back in those days. We were too busy trying to pick up girls and drinking and driving around. That wasn't any of our business. We could have cared less what was happening in the world. Last time we watched news was when the president was assassinated, and that was enough news for us for a lifetime. Well, the guy who owned the place sat down with us. He took an interest in this guy. He told him, he said, "I can feel for you, son." He said, I was in the last one and Korea, so I kind of know how you feel. The waitress brought his hamburger over and his beer, and the guy said, "Come on, let's go over to that table over there and we can chat." So we sat there and we just started talking about our conquests and the girls we had been dating and how much booze we had drunk last time we were together, and important stuff like that to stupid kids like us. And we were chatting away, drinking our drink, and I guess we had a hamburger too, because we always got a hamburger when we went there. When we heard somebody say over in the corner, "No!" He yelled out, "No!" And everybody got quiet, looked over there. It was a soldier, the one we had just been talking to. And the owner of the place was patting him on the back, trying to get him settled down. I said, "No, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I got to go back, but I don't want to go back." So the guy who was with him, the manager, I keep saying manager, I guess he was the manager and the owner, told him he understood, but men have fought wars for as long as men have been alive. And he understood what he was saying. He had to go back. It was his duty. And the poor soldier started crying and said he didn't want to go back. He didn't think he'd ever return to this country if he went back. And the owner kept talking to him. And finally he settled down and he looked resigned, and his eyes went blank like he was already dead. And we were all flabbergasted. We couldn't understand because we were just stupid high school students. We didn't know anything about the world. And this poor guy had been over there and told us stories about, while we were driving, about what he had done over there. And as he was talking to the manager or the owner, he kept talking about the kids. It's the kids. What can I do? I've done terrible things. Like I said, we didn't know. We didn't understand any of it. The guy who was with him did. He said, "You calm down, son, and I'll make sure you get back to the base. I'll take you myself." Excuse me. So the soldier just looked at him and said, "All right, I understand. I know I have to go back." Resigned to his fate. And he stood up slowly and once again put that green beret on with the same fastidiousness that he had done before. Straightened up, shoulders back, chest forward, and marched alongside the owner of the place out to his car. We never saw him again, naturally. Don't know what happened to him. I don't know that anybody else remembers that night other than me, because nobody's ever talked about it. And he was right. We didn't know about Vietnam. We had no clue about Vietnam. But when we graduated, we learned a lot about Vietnam. There were those of us who went off to college, those who got married. If you were married, then you didn't have to go. If you were in college, you had a deferment for the 4 years you were in college. That was me. And those who didn't, they were drafted. So we learned about Vietnam. We might not have known anything about it at that particular time, but we learned. You was dead right about that. I can only hope that the good Lord was looking after him and he did make it back home. But his soul was in torment. We could see that and hear that in his voice. Like I said, I don't know if anybody else remembers that because we've never talked about it. That was just one night, a Friday night in 1963. One that came and went for us because at that particular time we thought no more of him or of the place he was going or of military service or anything else. All of us were. All of us were affected by Vietnam after we got out of college. After we got out of high school. Those who went over to Vietnam were affected more than those of us who just went in the service. I know many a veteran of Vietnam, and it wasn't right what happened when they came back. The way they were treated. But anyway, I see this thing has gone on for a long time. Didn't mean it to go that long. Don't know that I gave this guy his due because he gave up a lot for his country. Remember the veterans, especially those who've been in the thick of battle. They deserve our respect so much. Okay, folks, getting kind of maudlin here. Let's not do that. I'm going to say I hope everybody's doing well, and I will talk again soon. This is number 28, I believe, in the Codger Challenge. And the Codger Challenge is coming to a close. Wonder what the results will be. God bless, folks.